Breaking into the MLB is one of the biggest moments in any baseball player's career. Whether they are a fast-rising top 100 prospect or a long-time minor league grinder, the moment is all that special for everybody. But what makes this 2023's rookie class so special? Just last season, we saw 303 rookies make their debut compared to just 261 in 2023. We also saw Adley Rutschman and Julio Rodriguez eclipse 5 WAR in 2022, a feat that hadn't been accomplished by a pair of rookies since Albert Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki in 2001, whereas Corbin Carroll was the only rookie to be north of 5 WAR this season. So to understand just what makes this 2023 class so special, let's take it back to where it all started. On opening day, we saw our first set of debuts. 12 rookies made their debut on opening day, including the number 4 prospect in baseball, Jordan Walker. Walker's 2023 was less than stellar and was just one of the things that didn't go to plan for the Cardinals this season. He accumulated negative .1 WAR over the season, but there were some positives to take away. He had an above-average bat by season's end, and his base running is still solid to go along with it. Walker's fielding was a large part of his lack of WAR accumulation. Walker was in the 1st percentile in range despite being in the 81st percentile in sprint speed. And that's really what held him back in 2023 from being a bigger contributor than WAR could imply. The Yankees also unveiled a hopeful cornerstone piece with the addition of Anthony Volpe to the Major League roster. Volpe came into the season as the number 5 prospect in all of baseball and was seen as their heir to Derek Jeter's shortstop that the Yankees have been looking to fill since he retired. Similarly to Walker, Volpe didn't quite live up to the expectations in 2023, especially from the offensive side. He really struggled to make consistent, hard contact with an expected batting average in the 18th percentile. Similar to Walker, there are some great things to take away. Volpe is an excellent base runner who showed decent defense during his rookie year, who also hit 21 homers, so there's a lot to work with for a young shortstop. 10 other rookies made their debuts on March 30th. The most notable of the group was Japanese sensation Masataka Yoshida, who played relatively well in his age 29 season in Boston, as well as 27-year-old rookie Ryan Noda, who actually was celebrating his birthday that day, so shout out to Ryan Noda. In the first week of the season, we got to see Kodai Senga also make his way from the MLB and unleash his ghost forkball onto the MLB. Coming into the season, it was seen as a quality addition to the rotation with Verlander and Scherzer in it as a depth piece that wouldn't need to be a star right away if the transition to the MLB was a little rocky. Instead, Senga outperformed all of them with a 2.98 ERA, earning an All-Star nomination, striking out almost 11 batters per 9 inning, and currently has the 4th best odds to win Rookie of the Year in the National League. 3 days later, we saw Grayson Rodriguez get the call up to the show. Unfortunately, the number 7 prospect in baseball didn't leave the same mark on the MLB that Senga did, and eventually got sent back down in late May. At the time, his ERA was north of 7, and he just needed some time to get things back together, because when he returned to the rotation after the All-Star break, he pitched to the tune of a 2.58 ERA and was much better at limiting the long ball. The big-name prospects and international free agents isn't all this class has to offer. The 50th prospect to make their debut this season was none other than 33-year-old Drew Maggi for the Pittsburgh Pirates. After being drafted in 2010, Maggi played 1,154 games in the minor leagues before finally receiving his call-up to the Major League squad. He played in just 3 games, got 2 hits and 6 at-bats, and inevitably got sit down to never see the majors again. Was it a marketing play for a team that already had a surplus of MLB-ready middle infielders? Maybe, but the story was great nonetheless, and for Drew Maggi, his family and teammates, it meant the world. But we have feel-good stories every season, as well as big-name prospects making a variety of impacts throughout the season. So you may be asking yourself, what makes this class any different? Part of what makes this class so special is the quality of depth the class has. 39 of the preseason top 100 prospects made their MLB debut this season, breaking the all-time record. And in total, 55 of the top 100 prospects in baseball played in the majors, also breaking the record. Mind you, some of them made their debuts last season. Sure, you have the phenoms like Yuri Perez and Elly De La Cruz, but you also have players like Henry Davis and Tyler Soderstrom who struggled heavily in their opening campaign. But you know the background of the player is still there. A lot of credit for the sudden influx of rookie players is being given to the development within and outside the organization by general managers around the league. Mike Elias, who called up 6 of the top 100 prospects this season for the Baltimore Orioles, said amateur baseball is much more sophisticated in terms of instruction and experience. The whole thing has shortened the learning curve between coming out of high school and being major league ready. There's better information at teams' disposal for teams to choose these players. That information has allowed for organizations to have a better understanding of players when they are drafting them and bringing them up to know who will require the least amount of time in the minors. Ben Cherington, who called up 3 top prospects for the Pittsburgh Pirates this season, was quick to accredit the advancement in technology, saying in AAA, you can measure everything the pitcher does that you do in the big leagues. Pitch shape, movement, location. Now we can look underneath the hood a little bit more. And while the Pirates weren't in the postseason hunt, the playoffs didn't scare any of these teams from calling up and using these rookies to their disposal. On September 11th, we saw the Cubs, who were still in the midst of a playoff run, add Pete Crow Armstrong to the roster to make that last punch that they needed. Unfortunately for the Cubs and for PCA, they fell a little short. On September 14th, we saw the Orioles add Heston Kjerstad to an already loaded Orioles roster. He helped pace the Orioles over the last 3 weeks of the season. He, alongside other rookies Gunnar Henderson, Grayson Rodriguez, and Jordan Westberg, headed into the postseason to verse the Texas Rangers. And we know how that went. In the other American League Divisional Series, we had the Twins, whose rookies Edouard Julien and Royce Lewis were crushing the postseason only to get bested by the Astros. But teams getting bounced early in the playoffs aren't the only ones counting on rookies and high leverage moments. The Phillies used a pair of rookies to boost their playoff run, with Johan Rojas taking over center field duties, with Orion Kerkering handling important innings late in the bullpen, neither of which were high-profile guys, but came into an important role for the Phillies down the stretch. The Rangers have also used a pair of rookies to bolster their World Series run. The use of these 2 prospects in the majors this season couldn't have been much different, though. With Josh Jung being on the main roster from the break of spring training, Jung made the most of the opportunity, slinging 23 homers and is currently tied for 3rd in betting odds for the American League Rookie of the Year. Evan Carter, on the other hand, didn't make his debut until September 8th, but once again, he made the most of it. In just 23 games, Carter cranked 5 home runs with 12 RBIs, with an OPS above 1,000 and accumulated a WAR of 1.6. In case that wasn't enough, he took the performance to the national spotlight with his performances in the playoff. So far, the 21-year-old has a .313 average with an OPS at .973 and has reached base safely in every game so far. The team Carter and the Rangers are facing in the World Series have come up with their own source of rookies to make their postseason push, with the most obvious superstar in the making, Andrew Saalfrank, leading the way. Saalfrank has routinely been coming out of the pen, getting his 1 out, and then possibly giving up a few walks, but that could or couldn't be hearsay. The D-backs also have implored Jordan Lawlar into their game plan for the postseason, mostly as a defensive replacement or pinch runner. While we can hope for more in the future, Lawlar is currently playing a limited role on this D-backs team. The 3rd rookie the Diamondbacks have included on their postseason roster is former top 100 prospect Brandon Pfaadt. Pfaadt had his struggles during the regular season, posting a 5.72 ERA, and that trend continued into his wildcard round performance, in Game 1 only getting through 2 2/3 innings, allowing 3 runs in the process. However, since that moment, Pfaadt has only relinquished 2 runs over 14 innings across 3 starts. 2 of those starts came in crucial games against the Phillies in the championship series to help propel the D-backs to the World Series. But for some reason, it feels like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh yeah, that Corbin Carroll guy. He's pretty decent.